And welcome back to Our Home with Mayor Sendzik, and it's the second show of the 2020 year, and you're looking at a photo of my dog Cinder. And I just want to say this was a gift from my staff over the Christmas holidays. They took an image of Cinder and they put it on the socks. And I gotta say, that was probably the best gift that I got for Christmas. And so what you could do is just take an image of your pet, and there's got to be an online sock creation program, and you put it on there, and then they ship it out to you in a couple weeks, and you've got your pets on your feet. And so I think it's a pretty cool gift. And I know it's February. It's, I think, going to be a short February in terms of winter. We've got a lot to talk about on this episode. And it is a great time of year to learn about some exciting things that are coming up, because we're going to be talking about lacrosse, which is in our DNA in St. Catharines. It's been in our DNA for over 140 years. So we have Dan Pilon and Paul Coates coming on after the break from St. Catharines Lacrosse Association to talk about the upcoming Minto Cup. But joining me now is a close friend, someone that we have worked together for a long time, and who is with the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce, Corrina Massicotte. And she's been with the Chamber now for, I'm going to say, 10 years?
11.
11. I was close.
Yeah.
11 years.
Yeah.
And you've got a new position.
That's right.
You are now the Director of
Operations and Communications.
Right. So
Yeah.
when it comes to events, Corrina does. She knows everything. When it comes to events, she probably is one of the best event coordinators in all of Niagara, and I could say that because the GNCC, the Greater Niagara Chamber, is known for its events.
That's right.
So we're going to be touching on some of the events that are coming up, the exciting events, but also your involvement with WIN, which is Women in Niagara, and it is a council of the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce. So we're going to be touching on that as well over the next, before the break. But you are also a volunteer with Wingfest.
Yes.
And Wingfest is a bonanza of wings, Lakeside Park.
We've actually moved to Rennie Park.
Yeah. So it started in Lakeside Park.
That's
it's
right.
at Rennie Park. It's in Port Dalhousie, and it's a fundraiser for community care.
That's right. So last year we actually raised $15,000 for community care.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And it's all young professionals.
It's all young professionals. It's actually a working board, and we all volunteer our time to put on this festival. And it's a great way to bring the community together and highlight some great local restaurants that have delicious wings and local music acts. And so
It is. Last year was amazing.
Thank you.
Like, it was amazing.
Thank you.
So it's every year it's gotten bigger and it's gotten better. And
Yes. Yeah.
I love wings, by the way. Like I just love wings.
Yeah.
Like it's my Achilles heel.
It's our community, right? You have to have a wing festival. So,
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
But you're also involved in Niagara College. So you're involved with their events planning.
Yeah, so they have
program,
an event management program. So I sit on the program advisory committee for that. So we look at what they're studying over the year, and we offer any tips of what's going on in the industry, of different things that are changing that maybe they want to integrate into their curriculum.
Well, you have a great background for that, as well as you're also involved in the Niagara Immigrant Partnership Program.
Yes.
And that's
so that's
working
a recent committee that I started sitting on, and it's all members from the community, and just
so it's about newcomers coming
exactly.
in. How do the newcomers connect with businesses?
Exactly, and making sure that our community is open and welcoming.
And I think that's the important part of the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce. It has over 1,600 members.
Just about that, yeah.
1,600 members from across Niagara. You really touch on a lot of you're the voice of business. The GNCC is the voice of business. It works with all levels of government. It works with different organizations, the academic, Brock University, Niagara College, and it's creating that awareness of the opportunities for business, but also some of the challenges. And so the workforce part of it is a very important part of what you do in making those connections as part of the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce.
Definitely, connecting employers to skilled workers is a huge focus of ours.
Yeah, it's been a challenge, and you hear that repeatedly in our community is that skill mismatch is becoming more and more of a challenge for certain businesses. And so you're doing a great job on that. But I really want to talk to you about the WIN program. And so for what is WIN? For people who want to may not know what Women in Niagara stand for.
So Women in Niagara, as you mentioned, is a council of our chamber. So we do have our board of directors that governs us, but then we also have a few different councils of specific demographics to help us with our programming. And so they're an advisory council that advises us on what our programming should be and how we can help women in business in our community. So
it gives you a gender lens, right? Like, and I think that's more and more important today, is that gender lens into business. And so talk about some of the things that would come out of the WIN program.
So we try and promote women in leadership roles so that younger women actually have someone that they can identify with.
Perfect.
And we do that through connecting people through events, promoting people on social media, and also advocating as well for women.
So you have a peer-to-peer program? Is
Yes,
that part of what you do?
So one of our new initiatives is a win-win peer mentorship program. So we've noticed in the past, traditional mentorship programs can often not work out so well. And so we made a new program where businesswomen sit around the table and they're actually peers. So they might be in all different levels of their business. They might be from nonprofit, they might be entrepreneurs, they might work for a corporation, but they've all got knowledge to be able to share. So they present their challenges for the last month, and everyone brainstorms ideas and solutions, and then they give themselves homework. And so they're accountable to their group for the next month. And it's really been very successul.
So in terms of programs like that, is it hard to engage businesses to be a part of that? So if someone says, I want to be a part of a WIN mentorship program, how would a woman in a business position become a part of the mentorship program?
So you have to apply. We wanted to make sure that people were really engaged and we're going to be there for each other. Okay. It doesn't work if you don't come out every month. So we had an application process, and that's available on gncc.ca. We will be doing another onboarding in June, and so you can just check out the information on our website and put in an application. It was not hard to get people to apply. Right. It was definitely, we saw a need for it.
And did you see on the other side of the equation the uptake for those who are looking for that kind of mentorship experience? They're young women in the marketplace that are looking for.
They're definitely looking for it. We heard it from the community, okay, and that's why we wanted to put this program together.
Okay, and then is it the first year that you've been running this?
Yes.
And then, so is it going to be is this ongoing now?
It's going to be ongoing, and we're actually looking at doing an ongoing onboarding process. So there'll be more opportunities for women going forward.
So jumping from business to government, you are also the WIN Council also has a seat at the table. And the seat at the table is an initiative funded by the FCM, Canadian Federation of Municipalities, that has provided a grant to the city of St. Catharines to put on almost like a mentorship program.
Yep.
And so seat at the table, first of all, why was it important for WIN to be involved in the governance side, like the government side of a seat at the table? Because
we need more women in politics.
You're right.
We need that voice around the table. It's proven in board of directors, a diversity of voices makes that company better. So it can only work for our government. We need to be represented. And especially in Niagara, we don't have enough representation. So we really wanted to be able to support a program that's going to get more women interested in politics and participating in politics.
So how's it been going so far? Because I know you're involved in the seat at the table. So what's some of the experience been so far as you've gone on this journey with a number of people who were selected to be at that table?
Yeah, so it's been going really well. I have to give out a shout out to Julia Rurson, who's on your staff and who's a member of WIN Council and has really spearheaded this program with us. The interest was fabulous. Over 70 applications for six positions. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to apply for more grants and keep other programs going so that we can have opportunities for all of the women who are interested. But we selected 6 women, and from all different kinds of backgrounds. Some are moms, some aren't, some are working. So some are students, some are older. So they're going to be mentored by the 3 women city councillors, St. Catharines city councillors. And it's been going great so far.
So that mentorship, again, extends into giving them insight into what it's like to be a councillor, what it's like to be, and I know St. Catharines MPP Jenny Stevens will be presenting and talking about her experience as an MPP, a female MPP in the House in Toronto, and so it's giving people the tools
and just telling the story of
Right.
how does it work.
Right.
You know, from deciding to run, do you decide to run or do you get involved supporting someone else's campaign? There's lots of different ways to get involved in politics, or do you sit on a committee?
Right.
So it's making that decision and then the steps to actually run and how council actually works.
Right.
A lot of people don't know how it works and how easy it is to get involved and have your voice heard.
Right. How does it work? Just kidding. So pivoting over into one of the highlight events of the entire schedule, and it's something that I have always I've attended. If I can't attend, I'm always looking to learn who the speakers are, but International Women's Day. I think the event that you put on is probably, in my opinion, one of the top events in Niagara. First of all, you get over 800 women and men that come out to International Women's Day. You've had, I remember Marilyn I. Walker, she was given an award one year. You've had, I believe, Hazel McCallion has been a speaker, and you've had...
Last year we had Charmaine Crooks, who was a former Olympian.
Yes. So you bring these outstanding women, you celebrate them, but they also provide their wisdom and insight.
Yes, it's providing that inspiration for our community.
This year you have they've all been spectacular speakers, but this year you have someone that is, I think, very unique. So tell us who's joining you this year.
Joining us this year is Autumn Peltier. So she is known internationally as the Water Warrior. She's an Indigenous woman living in the Ottawa area right now, and she's 17.
She's like Greta Thunberg.
Yes, she's the Canadian Greta. Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's addressed the UN. She has spoken at many conferences around the world. She is known as presenting Prime Minister Trudeau with a pot, raising awareness of clean water in the reservations. So we're so excited to have her down, especially as a young woman who is really spearheading change in the world.
And that is outstanding. It is like, that is a definite. You got to go. You do sell out. So how does someone get tickets? Give us the event background on that.
So the event just went live on our website. So yes, get your tickets soon because it does sell out. So again, you can follow us on social media and you can check out our website as well, gncc.ca.
When's the event taking place?
March 6th.
Where is it taking place?
Fallsview Casino.
Fallsview Casino. So how many people can you fit in there?
We can fit probably 1,000 in there. Right. So.
And it has sold out in the past.
It has sold out in the past.
And you have Autumn Peltier.
And we have Autumn, yes.
So again, that really does show what the role WIN wants to play.
Yeah, so she was chosen because WIN is we're looking at issues in our backyard, but we're also looking at issues around the world. And the climate crisis was something that WIN wanted to be able to advocate for. So we thought, let's bring down Autumn and ask her to speak to the business community about what the business community can do to help mitigate the climate crisis.
Climate and Indigenous rights.
That's right,
and so
as well.
And I'm impressed by the fact that you have someone like that. In St. Catharines, we have a memorandum of understanding with our Niagara Region Native Centre. We are working very hard to build the bridges that have been torn apart over generations of what the Canadian government and the British government previously did to the Indigenous peoples of this continent, of Turtle Island, as we say, and having the opportunity to have Autumn come and provide further education about quality of water on the reserves, about what it's like through the lens of an Indigenous young woman. We have the Truth and Reconciliation. We have the Murdered and Indigenous Women Commission. They've come up with their report. There's so much that we still need to do, and so I do applaud you and the WIN Council for taking the position that someone like Autumn is needed in Niagara. So I want to thank you for the work that you do. You do an outstanding job at the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce. You're a leader, a women's leader with WIN. You're a leader in our community, and I just want to say thank you for the advocacy, for the push that you give for the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce to businesses. I don't think the businesses have a better representative body than the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce, and you've been a key part of that for the last 11 years. So
thank you.
Thank you for all the work that you do. And coming back from the break, we're going to have Dan Pilon and Paul Coates. They are lacrosse extraordinaires, and you'll see when you come back that we are getting some amazing events in 2020 all around lacrosse, and we're going to have an exciting conversation about what you can expect this summer when it comes to lacrosse in Canada. So you don't want to go anywhere. And welcome back from the break, where we had Corrina Massicotte from the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce talking about the Wind Council and all the exciting events that they have coming up at the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce. And talking about events, we've got some amazing events coming up this summer, and it's focused on lacrosse. And I don't know about you, but I love the game of lacrosse, and it's been a part of our community for 143 years. We are lacrosse. When you think of St. Catharines, when you think of the founding of our community, the city was founded 143 years ago, and concurrent with that was the St. Catharines Lacrosse Association. And so joining us today, we have two members who are a fixture in the lacrosse community. We have Dan Pilon, the Vice President of the St. Catharines Minor Lacrosse Association. He is also the sports lead for the Canada 2021 Summer Games for lacrosse, and we're going to talk about that because that was an important addition into the Canada Summer Games. And joining him is Paul Coates, and Paul has been referred to as the godfather of lacrosse. And so he is the president of the St. Catharines Junior A Athletics Lacrosse Club since 2009, and talk about a history for lacrosse in our community. And we're going to touch on the amount of Minto Cups that we've won. He's also a fixture in the hockey community, has been involved in sports for a majority of his life. And he is also, for those who are watching at home who catch the Junior A games on Cogeco, Your TV Niagara, he is also one of the guys that you'll hear calling the games. And so when we talk about lacrosse, I think we've got some pretty good bench strength here, as they say. We got some great bench strength. So let's talk about the lacrosse history first, because we're going to get into some of the exciting things, what's happening in 2020. But I want to talk just about the history first. So, Paul, I'm going to go to you. Not because you're the oldest of the two, but because you're the president of the St. Catharines Lacrosse Association. So talk to us about the connection between the history of lacrosse and our community.
So obviously, the St. Catharines Athletics Lacrosse Club started back in 1877, and it had its blips along the way, and it was called different things and everything like that. But ultimately, it has survived and has been an extremely strong franchise. As you indicated, we've been Minto Cup champions 6 times, and I will give a shout out to the 1950 team that my father-in-law, who resides in St. Catharines, John Dewar, lives in Ina Grafton, and he was a member of that team. And ironically, they won in Vancouver, thought they had won the Minto Cup, and on the train on the way home, the Canadian Lacrosse Association said, "No, you got to get up on Winnipeg and play again." So which they did, and they won that, and it carried on, and they were Minto Cup champions in 1950. But to modern era, obviously, a great history of the number of players that have played for St. Catharines, have gone on to the NLL. We had a phenomenal championship in 2001 at Jack Aycliffe Arena, where we had monstrous crowds, and the Athletics prevailed in 6 games. And then they won again in 2003, that same group up in Kitchener that way. So there's a long history and a great group. And if you look at even the St. Catharines Lacrosse, or pardon me, the Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame, located in St. Catharines as part of the Welland Canal, the number of St. Catharines born individuals that are in that Hall of Fame are off the charts, from your Whitey Fricks and your Ron Winterbottoms, and the list goes on. And very proud to be affiliated with that.
Now, is the Old Boys Lacrosse Association, and I say that because my dad goes to the barbecue every summer, and when you go to a barbecue like that, it is like the stalwarts of lacrosse in St. Catharines. These are men who have reached the top of the game, and that association combined with the St. Catharines Junior A's, and then you have the Minor Lacrosse Association. You have this long history of outstanding talent. And going over to the Minor Lacrosse Association, like that's got as an association board member, you're living up to a lot when you think about the history of lacrosse. So how does that history of lacrosse come to play in the Minor Lacrosse Association framework?
So I think where it gets seen is that the players immediately know they have something they can aspire to because they've seen it, they can touch it, they know it, it's right there. A number of years ago, you talk about the Old Boys Picnic. You would have recalled when a team we were involved, I was coaching, won the Bantamweight Championships. They were invited by the Old Boys to be there, and the boys are sitting there talking to players who are currently in the NLL. Wow. Jerry Cheevers was there,
really?
who they know absolutely. So I mean, they had, you have all the years that are there, and they see it, they can touch it, they can feel it. On top of that, they can go to the games, they watch the players who are playing Junior A. And we have a couple of other iterations. You go to Brock and you watch the men's lacrosse team there, and you're seeing players who are currently playing in the NLL and are doing it. So I think having that around is there. A bit of a legacy of excellence as well, too. We're one of the few centers across Ontario that all of our top teams play at the A level. So for folks who are probably more familiar with the hockey model, basically it's like all of your teams are playing the AAA level. And there's only 16 teams in the province that sit at that every year. So we have excellence in terms of what they're producing every year coming out of the minor association. They have junior teams they can run to that are successful, and they see the players that are there. I mean, Paul, I'm sure probably won't reference it because he's a little humble in that way. And one of his boys is probably one of the best players in the world from a lacrosse perspective. Danny and Spencer, his other son, is quite a lacrosse player as well. But I mean, they see that. It's right there. It's in front of them. They come to the games. The coaching staff for the junior A's, those are all players who previously played professionally. So having it that close is really something so they can aspire to it.
So the strength of from the foundation of lacrosse in the community, the youth side of it up to the junior A, and then being able to move on to the NNL and all those other, going to university, playing in the States. It comes back to what we're going to do in 2020. So I want to start with the under 16 and the national championships. It's going to be held in St. Catharines. And why did the association pursue that?
So the reason we mainly pursued it was the fact that in the Canada Summer Games, it's a pilot project for the first time. So this is box lacrosse's inclusion in the Summer Games for the first time ever. So we're pretty excited. It puts a little bit of pressure on you as well because you have to do it well, you have to do it right, and you want it to stay there. So it's important for the growth of the game nationally, internationally. And the event that's going to be taking place as part of the Canada Summer Games in 2021 is the U16 Nationals, because that's the age bracket that all the other events that are happening for Canada Summer Games. So we're hosting that in 2021. The logical scenario was that if we can host it, the exact same event the year before as a run-through to get used to the number of participants, the number of, at that age, because it's minor, you still have all the parents are coming, the grandparents are coming, the brothers, the sisters, everyone's coming along. So to host an event of that size, of that magnitude, we can run it. We're essentially running the U16 National Championships 2 years in a row.
Right.
So that works really well. And then to layer on top of that was, we say this is about the legacy in the community of bringing back all of those events that haven't been hosted here locally. So as you are only too aware, an event such as the Canada Summer Games is a significant investment from a municipal perspective. Right. And the reason you do it is because all these things are there. So I mean, it's the benefit of engaging in those, the World Rowing Championships, the Minto Cup, the Canadian Olympic Wrestling Trials, FIBA. None of those things happen if there's not a commitment by municipalities to invest in the sport and the sport tourism and the infrastructure. Right. And so we're pretty excited to have a whole host of events they're going to be running.
So we've got the U16 Nationals, which is amazing. And then pivoting from that, you were both instrumental in making the bid for St. Catharines to get the Minto Cup, which is the holy grail of lacrosse in Canada. It's our memorial cup for those who are familiar with hockey. So, Paul, the importance of the Minto Cup and coming in 2020.
So I think it's phenomenal. Our junior A team last year led the league in attendance.
It did.
So we are truly a hotbed. And the fact that you referenced Memorial Cup, so they have gone to a Memorial Cup format. So automatically the host team is one of the 4 teams that are involved in it. So for us to be able to go out and to put that bid in, Walter, you were instrumental in that bid as well. We truly wowed the junior A governors in the meeting. It was a unanimous 8-0 decision for St. Catharines to be acknowledged as the recipients to host this summer 2020. Part of that as well is the fact that the Midget Nationals are at the exact same time. So we're going to put bums in seats And it is going to be a great lacrosse festival in downtown St. Catharines, and I'll throw dates out there, basically including the Nationals. I think they start the 14th of August. The Minto Cup will start the 15th and run through to the following weekend, which is up into the 22nd.
So that's, the last time we had it was 2001.
Correct.
And then the last time we won it was 2003.
Correct.
And so now we have an opportunity. It's going to be in downtown St. Catharines. It's going to be at the Meridian Center. Practices will take place at the Jack for the Minto, but the games will be played, and I think we can sell out that. I think we are such a hotbed that we can sell out the Meridian Center.
Yep, and again, appreciate the simple fact that we've got all upstate New York. They're very involved. They're very interested in box lacrosse, so we will promote to that area, the whole Golden Horseshoe. All is very aware of lacrosse. Obviously, the strength of the Buffalo Bandits, the Toronto Rock, how many local kids were involved in pro lacrosse. We're going to draw exceptionally well. We're super excited to fill every restaurant on St. Paul Street, load up the hotels. Economically for the region, it's going to be a boom.
That is going to be amazing. And so, Dan, volunteers, just give a plug for, you're going to need people to pull this off.
Right.
For both events.
Absolutely. So, and for Canada Summer Games, we're looking at both events together. Okay. So it's important that we have the volunteers, Niagara2021.ca. You go on there. You go online there, and there's a volunteer aspect right there. You can plug in there. And as referenced, the U16s are happening at Seymour Hanna Center.
Yep.
The 2 pads there, Meridian right there. So you're going to have within 2 kilometers, 2,000 lacrosse players, parents, officials, administrators, everyone. So yes, we need a lot of volunteers, folks who are interested in helping out in the events. We're looking at it as kind of one lacrosse event that we're running that just has a bunch of different aspects. So we're hoping that the community gets behind it. We get people out there, and if we do it well, it stays in the Canada Summer Games. We have these hosting opportunities in the future, and we continue to cement our place where we started. So
there is no if. We are going to do it well. We've got 2 amazing individuals who have helped lead the charge. So I want to thank Dan. I want to thank Paul for everything that you're doing for lacrosse. It is the creators' game. It's in our DNA. It's our game in St. Catharines. The light is going to shine on St. Catharines this summer and on lacrosse. And I know we're going to have an outstanding job. And I know, Paul, you are assembling an amazing team for the Junior A's. So there's a big weight on the shoulders, but I know you're doing an amazing job.
So thank you. Yep, really looking forward to it.
Okay. So folks, I want you to check out the Junior A's. Go to their website, look up when the games are coming up this year, because they're going to have an exciting team that's going to be playing, and they're going to be playing hard because they want to get as far into the Minto Cup and bring that cup back home to St. Catharines. Dan, you're going to be working on the U16s, and it's going to be an outstanding championship that we're going to be bringing here to St. Catharines. So folks, pay attention to the lacrosse schedules. It is going to be an exciting part of our community, of our summertime. I've changed my travel schedules. I am staying in St. Catharines for pretty much the entire summer because we've got amazing things going on. So until next time, get outside, enjoy what you can, spend time with friends and family, and if you want, head over to the museum and check out the Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame. You're going to learn some amazing things that we've done here in St. Catharines. So enjoy the rest of the day and the rest of the week in front of you. Take care.